Hello, everybody. It's D.Lisa West, transformative life coach, and
Cristina Spatower, relationship coach and psychotherapist here.
thanks for being here, Cristina. And we were just talking because our regular scheduled time today was interrupted by me not rescheduling us. And I said, oh my gosh, several days ago, I double booked myself and I was going to tell you we should do it at a different time. And did I? No,
Nope.
I forgot until just now. And Cristina was talking about an interesting factoid.
Yes. So forgive me, I can't remember exactly where I read this, but they were saying how sometimes it's actually not a good idea now to write necessarily a goal down or something, because our brain is so powerful that sometimes when we do that, in our mind, we've already done it. So I'm sorry, I don't have the exact thing already. I have to find that somewhere. But it's just because when you were talking about the idea that you'd had this in the head to let me know that you double booked, it reminded me of that. Like sometimes I'll get a message from someone, I'll get an email from someone, and I have such a strong intention to respond to it. And then I get involved and busy and I don't respond to it. And in my brain, I've told myself I already did it.
Right. Right.
So I have to look up, but I feel like there is some sort of phenomena there. So I apologize for not having a proper citation.
It'll come to you later, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yes.
I'm also, my brain is arguing with that. So I also know that through years of goal setting and writing down your visions and dreams, that there's a part of your brain that likes to write things down, especially if you're doing affirmations.
Oh, yes.
Like saying an affirmation, writing an affirmation, it's a different part of the brain where it goes. But possibly writing yourself a note about changing that appointment, it might just be easier to just change it.
Yes, I think so. But no, I'm a big fan of writing stuff down. I believe in writing stuff down. I believe in journaling. I believe in affirmations. I believe in all of that. You know, for all we know about the brain, there is still so much we are still learning about it.
Right.
And the brain is very much how we plan. So I do feel like, and I'm trying to formulate this, and I know it's not coming out perfectly, and we may have to do a part 2 if more things come to my brain. But just the idea that our brain is always thinking ahead. Like, you ever find sometimes when you're like getting tongue-tied, maybe like I am now, where your words don't seem to be as, like, your brain is like, I have all these things I want to say, and the words can't keep up.
Absolutely. I was with a guy. I was told before I met this person, I should not ask him a lot of questions. And I said, why? And he says, well, he speaks very slowly, but that's because he's really, really, really brilliant. And his brain is going so far ahead of himself that it will sound like he's not smart when he's talking to you. But of course, I love to talk to people and I love to ask them what they're doing. And so I couldn't help myself. I got that guy into a zone of talking about what he was passionate about and doing this and doing that. And he was some kind of scientist. And we did get to that point where I could see that his mind was going way faster than his mouth could keep up with. And it did sound like he might have had some kind of speech impediment, or maybe wasn't all that bright, because what was coming out of his mouth wouldn't catch up with his brilliant mind. Wasn't a fast talker, and he had to kind of
catch up,
probably like go back in time to remember what he was talking about. Already, right, thinking of something next and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, I'm always marveled by the brain. In fact, there's this neuroscientist. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I want to say, is it Andrew Huberman?
Oh, yeah, I listen to the Huberman Lab. It's a podcast.
Yes, brilliant guy. Brilliant guy. So he's always talking about all these different things with the brain and all these different tricks we can do. And then I heard this other talk that he did where he was talking about, we're always talking about dopamine and how to encourage ourselves and motivate ourselves. And he was talking about how we keep the motivation for like a goal or something we're doing. People make the mistake of saving the dopamine for the end, where really we
Mm,
should keep the dopamine going for the process.
right.
Because, yeah,
I took a course recently where this woman was talking about how to put dopamine, that whole idea of the dopamine hit, into your
yes.
online course.
Oh, was this,
So
what's her name? Marissa?
yeah, I can't remember her name right
She's
now, but she's
huge
basically
into that.
like, everybody who plays video games gets hooked on the video
Yes.
game because it's like, cha-ching, you're at the next
Yes.
level.
Oh, I've
Or
seen
there's
her.
a
She has like a
ding, or you,
gazillion online
yeah,
things. I've seen her too.
yeah. So then she's like, okay, if it makes people happy to get the ding or to say, you've completed this,
Mhm.
and see balloons go across the screen, do that for them.
Yeah.
And you can do that for yourself while you're moving toward a big goal. It's like, you can say, good job to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, because he said actually giving yourself self dopamine hits is pretty fluid. So the idea is it's not hard to do, but we're not accustomed to rewarding process. We're accustomed to only giving ourselves the hit at the end.
100%. That's what I was going to say before we started chatting. I was like, let's talk about disappointment.
Oh, I like it. See, we always get around to
We
it.
do. Let's talk about disappointment. And I have often set high goals for myself, higher than I gathered together by the end of the year.
Mhm,
So I'd look at
mhm,
it's like, oh, my goal was this, but I only got here.
mhm,
Now, then I just feel sad. I don't
mhm,
give myself the dopamine hit of, you know what, this is better than this.
mhm.
So, how do you think we could change that around in our reality so we do give ourselves the dopamine hit, so we do give ourselves the praise and the kudos for going as far as we went, even though that wasn't as far as our goal said we were going?
Well, this is the thing. Why can't we reward before we hit this ultimate goal? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Why can't we reward the process and the effort that it takes? You know, when we talk about, I've also in my career worked a great deal with children. And when we talk about the idea of rewarding successive approximations to the behavior, the idea of shaping. So why can't we do shaping for ourselves and reward successive approximations to the goal?
Beautiful. Yeah, because everyone says it's not the destination.
It's the journey.
So if it's not the destination and it's the journey, we could just say every day, what was my journey today?
Yeah.
What did I do on the way to my beautiful life that I have dreamed up? Did I take one step? Did I
Yes.
rest? Maybe you took no steps, but you had a good rest.
But you had a good rest. I mean, one of the things I'm always talking about with my clients is, you've got your long-term goals, you've got your short-term goals, and you have all the little steps in between that get you there. So sometimes I'll have clients who are frustrated because they're not at that ultimate point they want to be. And I'm like, but wait a minute. If anything that you have done that's in service toward one of your goals is a win.
Right on. That's beautiful.
So maybe to add to what we said before about maybe it's not don't write down your goal, but maybe don't make your brain think that's the only thing. Like if I'm not there, then it's nothing. Of course, we're going to get frustrated. Of course, we're going to give up. Of course, our brain's going to be like, we said we'd do this a month ago. Look where we are.
Yeah, because you and I both help people get really in the future big long range dreams and goals.
Mhm.
And maybe we're not even going to still be with these people when they get what they want, but we're
Right.
helping them to move toward it more and more,
Yes.
and to be the person that could have that more and more, and to let go of the fear and the doubt and the worries that keep them held back into the comfort zone. So
Mm-hmm.
so maybe we don't see them win the Academy Award or
Mhm.
publish their book or or walk their grandchild down the graduation,
Right.
but we get to watch them step by step, and that just taking the steps is a big
Yes.
deal. And
Yeah.
and it's worth congratulating yourselves for doing it.
Yes, absolutely. It's setting on the path. It's setting, what we do is to help the person set themselves on their path.
Right on.
We're-
And I heard it this way the other day is a woman I follow online, Marie Manucheri, was telling someone that he needed to love himself more, and that
Mm,
4 times a day for 1 minute, he was supposed to stop what he was doing and talk
mhm.
to himself like this. Good job, Ralph. Way to go, Ralph. I love you. You're doing great. Now, that might seem really uncomfortable for someone who's not good at talking to
Mhm.
themselves in that way, but imagine how much it would change you if 4 times
Mhm.
a day you stopped and praised yourself.
Yes. Imagine how I remember in a previous talk you were talking about a woman and you were saying how all day long she says very negative self-talk to herself.
Yeah.
And imagine how different her outlook or mindset would be if instead of berating herself all day, if she was acknowledging her wins all day.
Right. And if she was, yes, and I know who you're talking about. I know that she's such a negative Nelly that if she did that, she would say, well, good job, honey, but you had to do it yourself. No one else is going to help you. You're the only one who knows how to do this. So she's so stuck in her negative thinking, it would be a real big step for her to go, hey, good
Yeah.
job. Look what you did. You screwed that thing into the wall all by yourself, or
Mhm.
you like fixed that mechanical thing all by yourself. Good job. She's very accomplished and she's very smart. But when she talks to herself, you'd think she's just like a little kid getting in trouble from a mean parent.
Yes, I was just going to say, I bet she got a lot of negative messaging from her parents.
Right on.
That
Yeah.
stuff stays with you.
So don't be the mean parent to yourself. Be the kind
Yes.
grandmother. Like we
Yes.
probably all have, well, hopefully everyone who's listening to this can think of some beloved friend, teacher, or relation that they knew when they were a little tiny tyke, loved them
Mhm.
unconditionally, supported them completely. And
Yes.
if they could talk to themselves like that person would talk to them,
Mhm.
that might be a bridge to talking to yourself like you love yourself if you really need to kind of get there.
I love that because you know what? You will unfortunately have people in your life who've hurt you. But if there was at least one person, like you said, a grandparent, a relative, a coach, a teacher, a neighbor, somebody who saw the value in you, honor that. Like I remember
Who would
YouTube
that
is
be
a,
for you? Sorry to interrupt. Who would that be for you in your life?
who would that be for me in my life? Someone who always encouraged me. I'm thinking of two people actually. I'm thinking of my mother who always made me feel like there was nothing I couldn't do.
Mm,
I'm always be grateful to her for that. I never doubted how much she loved me. And I know, considering the work I've done, what a rare gift that is. And I am grateful that I knew every day she loved me.
nice.
The other person, I still remember him to this day, so it had an impact. It was my third grade teacher. And
Listen up,
he,
teachers. Listen up.
listen
Your
up,
third grade teacher is
okay?
still influencing you.
Let's
Wow.
just say it's a lot of years since I was in third grade, okay? So the fact that I still remember this man, and should I do a shout out of his name? Because I don't know if that's, if you want that. Should I shut out the name? I even still remember the name. That tells you the impact. So don't know if he's going to hear this, but Mr. Mahoney, thank you.
Mr. Mahoney and all the Mr. Mahonies like you, thank you. Yeah, because you knew he appreciated you and he let you shine your light, right?
Yes. So I had written something, we had like an assignment, and I wrote this assignment for class. And I still remember this moment. We're going in line, we're going to stand in the lunch line, we're getting ready to go to the cafeteria. And I think he had just read the assignment that I had done. And he goes and he picks me out of the line and he's like, Christina, I just read your story. He's like, you are a really good writer. Promise me you're going to continue to write.
Wow. Those are powerful words from a third grade teacher into a third grade
Yes.
brain. Did you continue to write?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
And his words stayed with me. I'm ashamed to say there are names of high school teachers I cannot remember. Names of college professors I cannot remember. But I remember my third grade teacher, Mr. Mahoney. And I remember that scene of standing in line and him pulling me out of the line and saying those words to me. I have no idea if he remembers it, but I do. And I will always be grateful for that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. For me, it was my grandmother who lived next door. She spoke Swedish and English. Okay, she spoke English, but she spoke Swedish most of the time. And she called me min little gullig vännen, which meant my little golden friend. And that was her little enduring name for me. And I just knew she loved me.
Oh,
Yeah. When I was a little kid, we lived next door to her, so I could go visit her quite often. She would do fun things like, hey, these were the days before cell phones and things like that.
oh yeah.
Hey, do you want to see if you can hear my alarm clock from your house? So I think it was a way to distract me and get me busy. So she'd turn on her alarm clock and I'd run next door to my house. I can't hear it. I'd run back and say, no, I can't hear it. Well, how about if I turn the radio on too? Now run home and see if you can hear it.
Aw.
Can't hear it. How about if I turn the TV on too? Run home and see if you can hear it. No. That probably kept me busy for like at least half an hour running back and
Special
forth between the
lady.
houses. Yeah, my grandmother, she was lovely.
Aw.
Well, Christina, it sounds like what we all need in the world is a third grade teacher who thinks we should always continue to write.
Yes.
We're great at it in the
Yeah.
third grade. And yeah, maybe in the future we'll talk about the gifts we've always had.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Maybe that can be a future talk, the gifts we've always had.
Yes.
And before that, I want to say there was a YouTube thing with an old thing from Mr. Rogers. I want to say it was the Emmys or something. He was winning some sort of award. And God bless Mr. Rogers. He really was who he was on his show, and he was in person. So when he was going to get his award, he's like, I just want to take a moment. I want all of us to take a moment for the people that loved us into being. Each of you has at least one person that loved you into being and that you still remember. I want you to think of them right now. Close your eyes and think of them, because we are here because they're of them. There wasn't a dry eye in that audience.
Oh, Mr. Rogers. I'm glad he's fondly remembered because he was an amazing human.
He was. You want to see the most polite section of the internet? Any article, video with Mr. Rogers. There is not a single thing of negativity in those comment sections.
There's another thing that Mr. Rogers was recorded doing a hearing in front of
Yes.
Senate Judicial or Senate Committee on funding.
Yes.
Yes. That's adorable. I'll put the links to that in the show notes.
Yes, please. And if I find the that awards thing, I'll send that to you. So put that in. It was so moving. There was not a dry on that house. So moving. And And like I said, when I read the comment sections on these videos with him, you could see how, and again, it's talking about how much we need somebody who loves a being, because for a lot of people, watching Mr. Rogers was that person for them.
Right. Right. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a real person
Yes.
that you know in your life. It could just be someone you're inspired by on TV or
Absolutely.
YouTube. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Cristina, thank you for today. Thank you for rescheduling at the last
Oh,
minute and
you're
bringing your
welcome. My pleasure.
brilliance to the conversation.
You too. Thank you I love our time. I love our chats, and thank you for giving us this space.
All right, Cristina. Talk to you next week.
Talk to you
Bye.
next week. Take care. Bye-bye.